Hello, I'm Stephanie and welcome to my sewing room. I am excited to share with you a review of a pattern that I just have fallen in love with. It's by Style Arc Patterns and it's called the Estelle Ponte Jacket. And I love it so much I made it several times, as you can see. And I wanted to kind of share with you some of my thoughts about it, and you can take that and maybe make your own. I'm also going to make one in this same video, a sew along. So this one. So prepare for that if you'd like to follow along or come back later and watch it and just see how easy it is. It's such an easy pattern. So the story is I bought it online. I was just searching for some cute little cardigan. I love cardigans. I love to wear them. It's just to stay warm, kind of finish off an outfit, and I have a lot of cardigans that are just kind of wearing out, my favorites. So I thought, time for a new favorite. And I found this I think I found it on Etsy, but turns out they have a whole website full of patterns, and I'm going to put a link to that in my description box, and you'll find the pattern there. And what you do is you download it, you buy it, you download it, and you print it at home. And I did that, and it was super easy, and it turned out great. My first thing I'm going to say about this pattern is I used my measurements to choose my size, and it fit perfect. That hardly ever happens. I always have to adjust the size somehow, and it was just right for me. So there's that to say. It said it was best for moderate stretch fabrics, and this was the one I wanted to try it on first. It's just a soft fleece that I got at Joann's, and it's in a kind of a dark gray, and it has very little, if any, stretch to it. And so I made it, and I put it on, and it felt like it was a little tight right here and a little tight on the elbows, which I hate a lot. And so I thought, ooh, I shouldn't have used that fabric. And that's when I noticed, it said moderate stretch. But I have to say, I have worn this a few times, and it relaxed. It just got really comfy, and the elbows and it just wasn't a problem anymore. So I would make it out of fleece again. So I do recommend it. Just know that when you first put it on, it might feel a little, like you gotta just break it in a little. That's all. So this I have worn and worn and worn already, because it's just heavy enough to be like a jacket, but not like a coat, So if you just want to, it's been really chilly and you just want something comfy, cozy, this weight was perfect. And so I made this as my test garment. I always make my test garment out of real fabric, not my best or favorite fabric, but something that I could still wear, and this was it. Turned out great. I've been wearing it. This was what I really wanted to make it out of. I have to say, this is beautiful on, but there's no way to fold it to look pretty. If you try to fold it to look pretty, it won't work. It's just too much. This waterfall drape of the front is, it has this beautiful collar. I just love it. It's like the shawl collar. It's beautiful, and it was really easy. It looked complicated, but it was really easy to do. That's why I wanted to do a sew along. So I made this one, and it drapes beautifully. It's kind of a soft t-shirt knit, but it has more of a little bit of a nylon-y feel, or a polyester, and it just hangs so nicely. So love this one. And then I had this sweater knit. It's a light sweater knit, and I made it out of this. Love it. Love, love, love it. It's beautiful. The one thing I would say about this fabric is it has a pattern, but the pattern is not on both sides, and this flops open. So it often shows that. So if that would bother you, then you might not want to use that. You might want something that looks the same on both sides. Now this one I hemmed all the way around, and this one I hemmed all the way around. All I did was serge it and turn it once and twin needle. And that's what I did. I like that because it's still stretchy. This one, out of the fleece, I did not hem. It's a raw edge, and that made it so easy. Didn't touch it. So that was fun. Now this one, I did hem, but oopsie, I forgot to do the sleeves. And now that I'm looking at them, I had matched the thread so nicely. I like the serged edge better. So I'm going to serge off this hem completely and just have this serged edge. So, wow. Different ways you could edge it, different ways you could finish it. So many choices. It just makes it super fun. One in every color, please. I think it's super flattering and comfy to wear. And with that, this is what the printed instructions look like. So super simple. And I want to just sew it for you. Shall we do that? I will absolutely take you along on this journey, so stay tuned. Let's make this. My whole pattern is cut out, and I just wanted to show you a couple of things. This is the pattern printed at home, and it's been taped together with all the little markings lined up. It's pretty simple, a little time consuming, but super simple, and you get to have it right away. The other thing I wanted to point out is cutting. If you're going to be using the raw edge as your hem, then you want to cut carefully. See, I know I'm going to serge all of this, so I didn't cut carefully. But when I made it out of fleece, I cut in one long continuous cut and was really careful about it because I knew it was going to show. This isn't going to show. The other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mark. Now, this sleeve has a front. That means this is the back. So with a piece of chalk, I'll probably do a B and an F. The other thing you'll want to mark is where your pockets go. And I just do a line there and a line there with some chalk. That's all the markings that you'll have on this. I'm sewing with a soft, stretchy knit, and it literally looks the same on both sides. So I need to choose a right side and a wrong side so that there's equal, all the same. Because if you don't and you accidentally sort of swap things around, you might see a different either texture or color or whatever. So make sure that you're always doing whichever side's right is always right. One of the things I like to do is look as close as I can at the weave and see if one looks more like the right side and one looks more like the wrong side. Just looking, this one has more of a, this one looks more like the right side. And this one looks more like the wrong side. This is just my cell phone, so I don't know how good that is. Another thing I'll do is I'll take a flashlight and I'll really get it, kind of looking at it. And that helps me see the grain a little bit more. And another thing you can do is, I can't do it with one hand, but you can kind of stretch it and see how it looks stretched. And you can kind of pick a right side and a wrong side. So it really doesn't matter which side you pick, just that you pick one and it's consistent throughout the project. So I have definitely picked, this is going to be my right side, and then this is going to be my wrong side. So on each piece, I'm just going to make a little mark somewhere. It's not going to show, so this is the wrong side, and I'll know on each piece which is the wrong side, which is the right side. So there's basically front, back, pocket, sleeve. And here are the instructions. And I don't know if you can see them, so I'm just going to assume you have them. And step 1, sew center back seam of the body together. So that's this. Okay, so the back seam is sewn. Let's do the next step, which is sew the front and back shoulder seams together. This is kind of tricky the first time you do it. So let me just show you how that's going to work. There's my pocket marking, so I know this is the wrong side. So let's do this. So there's my sleeve right there. It helps to see where that sleeve is because you've got this piece, and that's going to be the collar. So it's not the shoulder. There's the shoulder. See? A little bit tricky. When I get to my serger, I like to make a little snip right here, just so that I don't go past that. So just make a little snip right there. Let me show you what that snip is going to look like. Right here. My scissors are stuck. So right here, that's the shoulder piece. And this is the piece with the collar. I'm just going to make a little snip. That way I can use my serger across there. So center back collar seam with a flat seam. See diagram. And that's the diagram they're talking about. So find that, and that'll help you see what you're doing right in here. Or I can show you. This is the collar right here, and this is the back seam. So we want to put right sides together and sew the back seam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this, and then I'm going to do a twin needle right down here. Sew collar to back neckline. This is the collar, and this is the back at the neck. So we want to do right sides together, and we're going to sew this collar to the back. There's my collar. Next step, top stitch around the back neck and shoulder seam to keep seam flat. So we're going to do a top stitch all the way around here. So see, I did a top stitch, twin needle all the way around, and that's going to make it stay flat. Next step, set the sleeves into the armholes following the notches. I'm not going to do that step. I do not like to do my sleeve all with a side seam. I like to do my sleeve separate. So the reason for that is I like to sew always in the same direction from the top to the bottom. And if I put my sleeve in first, I'll be sewing it this way, then that way. So I'm going to do my sleeve last. So for now, I'm going to skip that step completely. With right sides together, sew the pockets with the notches and sew them to the side seam. So here we go. Okay, so this is my side seam. This is the back, see the seam, center back seam, and then the front is underneath. And so I've just kind of anchored it out. I've got my side seams together. Let's find the markings for the pocket. I marked them only on the front piece. Do you see it? Right there. There's my markings. All right, so let's unclip and let's peel back this top layer and let's lay a pocket. So we've got one pocket is 2 pieces. So this is the right side and this is the wrong side. Remember, I marked it. And this is the right side and this is the wrong side. So this matters because you want the right side to go with the right sides together. So this one won't work. Put that aside. This one will. Right sides together. Place your pocket using your marks. Where's my mark? Roll up here. There it is. Do you see it? So now we want to do the other pocket, the other side. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take this pocket and I'm just going to lay it right on top of this one. Just so I know they're going to be in the same place on my finished garment. It's just the way I do it. Okay, now let's bring this other seam down. This fabric's so lightweight, so lightweight. Okay, so now I'm going to clip just the other pocket. So here's one pocket, and now here's my pocket and my seam. Let's clip those. Now I'm going to use my serger, and I need to be able to stop and start. So what I like to do is I'll just clip a little piece of this fabric right at the bottom of the pocket and right at the top of the pocket. So what that means is when I go through my serger, I'm just going to fold that little piece out of the way, and then I'm just going to serge that. And I'll do the same thing on this one, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. So here are my pockets. They are serged on. So now what I want to do with these pockets before I do my side seam is I want to press them this direction with my iron. So I'm going to go press them towards the pocket, and I'll be right back. So my pockets are pressed towards the pocket, and now we're going to do the side seams with right sides together. So let's pin this with clips. Now we pressed the seam towards the pocket, so I want to make sure I sew it that way too. So I'm going to put a clip with those towards the pocket, and I'm just going to anchor that. Do that on this side too. So it's all clipped. And now what we're going to do is we're going to serge, starting at the top near the armhole, going all the way down and around the pocket and back up and down that side. And repeat it on the other side. So ready? Okay, this is the wrong side. I just wanted to show you my pocket and side seam. So once again, I always like to sew from the top down. It's just the thing that I like to do, and it works for me. So I started here, came here, went around here, and around here, and around here. Now, if you would like to see a video of me doing this on the serger, I do have a video on inseam pockets with using a serger. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description box. But what we're going to do next is we're going to, starting in the seam right here, okay, I'm going to sew down past the pocket about an inch, right about there, and do a little back and forth. And then I'm going to come, again, I like to sew this direction, so I'm going to start right here, a little back and forth, and then go right into the seam. So a little inch there and an inch there on my straight sewing machine. So I did a stitch right in the seam to about an inch past the pocket, and then an inch past the pocket right down into the seam. I did that on both pockets. Now the magic is going to happen in the pressing. If you would like to make a board like this one, it's really cool. I have a video how I made this for pressing. Okay. This is the back center seam, so this is the front. And what we want to do is we want to press our pocket to the front. And we want to press this seam to the front. There it is, lightly pressed. So we're getting somewhere. We've got our pockets, we've got our side seams. Now it's time to do our sleeves. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the sleeve. With right sides together, we'll just sew up the sleeve seam. Okay, the sleeves are ready to insert. This is so easy, you guys. You just won't believe it. Okay, I want you to turn them right side out. And then make a mark at your center. Okay, here's your garment, and what you want to do is turn it inside out. So this is the wrong side. And then you want to take this sleeve. You want to find your front. Sometimes this doesn't matter, but they marked it, so I think maybe it matters. Oh, where's my front? Okay, there's my front. So this is the wrong one, that goes to that one. There's my front, so that goes to this one. So I'm going to take this sleeve and I'm just going to stick it inside there. Okay, so here's my sleeve and here's my armpit. It's my big collar, my big front. There's my side seam with my pocket, so you can kind of see where I'm at. And this is my armhole. Okay, and this is my sleeve that's inside the armhole. And what you want to do is you want to take this seam of the sleeve and the seam of the garment, and you want to clip them. So the underarm seam clip together. And then you want to take your center that we've marked and go to your upper seam. And you want to clip those two together. Okay, so now you just want to clip it all the way around, just easing as you go. One way I like to do it is in quarters. So see here, this has got a little bit of curve that's got to go in there, so let's get them lined up a little bit. Okay, here's the armhole. This fabric's so slippery. And there's my sleeve. So I just take my 2 points. Okay, you ready? And I stretch them, and then I do a mark right in the middle, and I'm holding it down, and I'm going to clip it right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. It's a little easier. Line that up. Same thing here. It's a little curvy, so it's got to ease in there. Let's get that together. Right in the middle there. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, this whole armhole is now pinned. I'm going to repeat that on the other side, and then I'm going to serge it with my serger. I like to start just in the back a little bit towards the seam. So this is the back seam of the garment. I will probably start serging right there. So it kind of comes around the front, around the top, and back down to the back, underarm. So, you know, it should be seamless, but if there was just a little jig or a jog, I want it under my arm. So I'm going to repeat that on the other side, serge, and I'll be back. Starting to look like a sweater, isn't it? So what I like to do with my arm is I like to press it towards the arm. So I'm going to do that real quick. There's no way to make this look good laying down, just so you know. This is done. All that I need to do now is hem the entire thing. Now, in this pattern, you can leave these edges raw if you want to. I will, if it's a thicker fabric that just looks like fleece or something like that. This is so light and thin, I'm going to hem it. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to serge the end, and then I'll turn it under and do a twin needle all the way around. So I'm going to do that on all edges. I'll do each sleeve, and then what I'll do is the bottom hem and the collar hem, and then I'll do the two sides. So at this point, I have serged all my edges, and they look great. I don't know if you can see that. They look great. You could stop now and just leave it at this. It's really pretty. You could maybe even do a different color serger thread, something decorative, or something complementary, gold, silver, rainbow, you know. And I like the serge because it stretches. But I am going to turn it under just once and top stitch with a twin needle. Okay, all done. So basically I've just done a twin needle all the way around, and I gave it a quick press with the iron. Done. So what did you think? Pretty easy, right? And if you get the pattern, you can come back and watch this as you sew. I love to do that. I've done that so many times. It's like, pause, do that, pause. So come back and make it with me. That would be super fun. And if you like this video and you learned a few things, or you just enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. I love comments. And if you hit the little bell, you'll be notified when I put out another video. And just to let you know what to expect, I do all kinds of videos, mostly about sewing, but I do have a pretty fabulous glamped up camper that I took you through every step of the way. I've actually done it 3 times, and I have 3 playlists, 3 different campers. Take a look at some of my playlists. And I also do a sewing vlog every single Friday, so come back for that. Now a vlog is life, a little bit of life. So my sewing vlog is a little bit of sewing, a little bit of life, and it's called Friday Sews. And a whole bunch of us do it, so come back on Fridays. If you want a sewing buddy online, come on back on Fridays and we'll talk. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.